If this sort of thing ever makes it over to the US, you'd have to go on disability after 30 minutes of trying to pick these heifers up. You don't gotta work in a warehouse in the US. Because I was reading another article about how women in China are now paying male hosts to simulate different pre-scripted activities or actions with them. It's not explicitly sexual. There's an undertone, but it's not male prostitution. It's not like the Japanese version. That's where rich women pay for guys to drink, eat, and hold conversations with them. I'm sure that those dudes probably do get to smash, and the Japanese ones. So in Japan, it is much more of an escort style model of interaction. But this article was talking about the Chinese version. It's at some kind of theme park, and the men are even referred to as NPCs. And they mostly have to do these little pre-planned micro tasks that are designed to emotionally spike and make these Chinese women all gooey. That's my editorial interpretation I'm adding to the article. And for this, the man makes about double what he could make working in the local factory. And he gets the LARP as their version of the Chad. The NPC, he gets paid for carrying around these women like they're a princess. It's a princess carry for 10 to 20 seconds. And he does this like 100 times a day with different women. And he doesn't refuse anyone. Even the fat women get scooped up and carried by this man. So I feel for these NPC guys that have to carry fat Chinese women around and up a hill just so these slobs can simulate some sort of fairy tale fantasy that they have for themselves. Again, though, try carrying the average American woman up a hill. Them hoes weigh more than the average man did 60 years ago. JFK, he was a war hero. Why? Because he pulled and swam survivors from his PT boat. The boat got sunk, and then he had to pull and carry grown men on his back while swimming in shark-infested water, I'm sure. But nowadays, you got to pull or carry around some woman that same size, at least that size. Where the hell's your Purple Heart? You going to get the Navy Cross or whatever? The Navy Marine Corps medal? No. And 160, 70 pounds is considered average. We're not even talking about the 300 plus pounders. If this Chinese NPC guy, his hosting job, if this sort of thing ever makes it over to the US, you'd have to go on disability after 30 minutes of trying to pick these heifers up. You ever seen William Refrigerator Perry? That guy, he was considered comically large when he played for the 1985 Bears, the Chicago Bears. He was at 330, 350. Imagine telling someone in the 1980s, going back in time, that your job was to princess carry someone that size dozens of times per day. They wouldn't believe you. And you're doing this while this person may be developing sexual feelings towards you. And you have to be professional and turn them down gently. I think we will see this migrate to the US. I know we're decoupling from China, but at some point we're going to have these sorts of jobs. Gender relations amongst the lower and middle classes are breaking down. Women are breaking sofas, and it's a race with the GLP drugs and the Chinese peptides to see if their appetite-suppressing technologies can successfully outpace the gluttony of the United States of America. It's a race, and it's going to be a photo finish, I can tell you that. But these NPC guys in China, some of them offer piggyback rides or that princess carry for a longer version than the 10 to 20 seconds. They do a full hike carrying these women. So we're talking an extra long trail that takes a full 5 hours to complete. For that physical exertion, this NPC man also has to do a whole boyfriend experience routine during the hike. the NPC will make roughly the equivalent of $140 US. Maybe I was too tough on those $17 to $23 an hour jobs that I was talking about earlier. $140 for carrying around some woman that you don't even get to bang after, and you got to do that for 5 fucking hours. God bless those guys. God bless you, Chinese NPC. It's interesting, though. These dudes have to market themselves on social media and post ad pictures and this emotionally charged copy in order to attract clients. But it's not just carrying women. There are also guys who have alternative gigs like this, and they get to do motorcycle photo shoots with the clients and then doing other micro activities. Maybe all these guys, I don't know if they're all specialists and they do like one of each, or they do like a whole array of offerings. That's what I would do. For instance, one of the other ones is pretending to be the woman's boss and pinning them to the wall and getting real close to talk to them and just generally dominating them for like 20 or 30 seconds. Would you do that, listeners? Would you be a domineering NPC when this comes to America? Remember, you have to do this a few hundred times per day. And I guess you'd be making the equivalent of double what a job that doesn't require a degree pays. Let's call it $30 to $35 an hour. Male NPC hosting jobs are the future. You throw in 401k and dental. Does that do anything for you? You got to be a warrior, though. You can't fall in love with these women. It's like the Chinese NPC. That guy, he said in the article, quote, "I want to do better than their boyfriends, but I cannot fall in love with them." He's a tough man, a man of guts. And you got to have this assembly line sort of efficiency. There are time limits and boundaries put in place to protect each person. And you as the man are performing this emotional, spiking lap dance on them. A different type of labor versus the eroticism of the stripper. You have to make them feel like they have a boyfriend and either, treat them well, be a slave of sorts, or even scaring the hoes. Whatever the job requires, it's predictable. It's a safe experience for them. And for you, it's possibly, this is a thought of mine, it's possibly less demeaning than working for some Globocorp, some other Globocorp. I'm sure there's some corporation behind this. Maybe not. Maybe being in a service role to a bunch of girl bosses who are lonely. That might be a harrowing experience. Even if you're in the role where you have to be an overtly dominant boss, you have to be the domineering man. But even with all the AI talk about eliminating jobs, the depersonalization and lack of inherent danger in life and the day-to-day experience of most people is creating job opportunities for you guys. You can monetize your physical presence and adopt the right persona to make these women gush down there, and you don't even have to plow them. They probably have the Chinese equivalent to fake email jobs. They're bored and certainly don't have anything approaching a satisfying romantic or social life. And you are a man. Either way, the Chinese version or the upcoming American version, you have limited viable economic opportunities. You're the same as the Chinese counterpart. And you're never going to attract a woman like this because you make less money. But they still want your attention in this very specific way if you're in good shape. But she doesn't get the marriage. She gets the physical labor and protective dominance fantasies. Those are satisfied. And you get to go home to your chicken and rice dinner that you got to eat to keep that physique leaned up. And you got to get up the next day and the day after that and carry more women up a trail for 17 seconds. Or the full 5 hours. You both go home alone and feel like you've had an actual lived experience.